The show with hot questions.
Yo! Quickly play a game before we have to go and bury. See if I can push them on the farming maybe. But I'm also watching the latest Hot Ones where Paul Rudd is being interviewed on the side, so just I hope that doesn't get blocked. I accidentally played like Thunderstruck on my PC yesterday and that got the one bit blocked, so lessons learned.
And even hotter wings. And today we're joined by Paul Rudd. He's an actor, writer, and producer who's been in some of the most beloved films and TV shows over the last 25 years, from Judd Apatow comedies to the Marvel Universe. And you can catch him on the new Netflix comedy Living With Yourself, which is set to release on October 18th. Paul Rudd, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Sean. I'm excited to be here.
How are you feeling going into this? Are you a spicy food dude?
I like spicy food. I mean, I don't shy away from it. I'm not so crazy about plutonium, and I know that's where some of this is headed, so I guess we'll see.
Let's do this.
Oh, cauliflower.
It is
Going, shout out
getting
to the
morning?
veggies.
Coming now.
Eat you.
Oh,
Fishing out here.
man. Which way is this going up? That is definitely
All right.
fiddlesticks. Okay, let's go down below.
As we mentioned in your intro, you have this Netflix comedy, Living With Yourself, where you played two versions of the same character. What were the challenges in shooting scenes with yourself? And then did you gain any sympathy for the co-stars that you've had over the years?
The challenges with playing two parts, in the way that we did it, there's many different ways you can do it. I would record the lines for both characters, and then I had a thing in my ear, and I would act as one character, and then the response was a guy off the side going, hitting a button for the reply. And then I would flip around and remember where I was standing, where I was looking, and then just act opposite to the sound.
I read a quote of yours recently that I thought was really interesting, where you said that a lot of the movies you find funniest are categorized as dramas, and then that some of the most dramatic things happen in comedies.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it's a pretty wide spectrum, but some of my favorite movies, one of the funniest movies for me of all time is this movie, With Nail and I, a British movie from the 80s, which is essentially a very sad film. But whenever I see somebody that's experiencing something heartbreaking, or it's some kind of struggle, or some kind of emotional something or other, and the way they deal with it is through humor, there are many levels. I find that really funny, but I also find it relatable, and I think that that's when something can be funny, but then incredibly moving and heartbreaking at the same time. Alan Partridge or The Office, or that kind of comedy, or is funny, but it's actually also kind of sad. Can I ask you some questions?
Whatever you want.
Because I think that you are the most fascinating character in this setup. How many of these have you done?
I think you're number 166.
Okay. That's really impressive.
Thank you.
Do you feel differently now than you did when you first started? Does it affect you
physically?
Yeah.
You know, I think what happens when I first started, it was like a physical adjustment to do this, right? Mm-hmm. And then I think I had a nice couple seasons there where I was just cruising. I was just on cruise control. I find lately now, I'm once again climbing up the hill. Like I'm once again challenged by the sauces. You know, I think maybe the wheels are coming off the wagon or something.
You're an athlete. You're a pro athlete.
That's true.
Hey, this is a short window.
Right.
I'm impressed with your stick-to-itiveness.
I put a lot of city miles on it, you know?
I don't want to see what's going on underneath that skin.
So, Chris Schoenberger, who you met when you came in here,
mm-hmm.
he has a relationship with Britishness that mirrors yours almost exactly. So, when he was growing up, he'd visit family in London. He would get copies of the Beano from his cousins. He would raid tuck shops and try to get crunchy bars.
Yeah.
And even did a 3-month stint at Oxford.
Right on. Wow.
That crazy?
That's crazy. Growing up with tea and crumpets and the Sunday roast and Yorkshire pudding and all of that. It's all my favorite stuff, and it's all very comforting to me because I've just always grown up with that. And I knew that like my next door neighbors weren't having Yorkshire pudding. I knew that was like, this is weird. I didn't know it was different.
Right.
That a lot of people, I guess, in Kansas City not making Yorkshire puddings.
I want to hit you with 5 British biscuits. I want to cold cock you with 5 British biscuits. You rank them from best to worst, okay?
Oh, man.
Custard cream, McVitie's chocolate digestive, Jammy Dodgers, Cadbury fingers, and Jaffa cakes.
Oh, man. Of those, my favorite would be the McVitie's. The chocolate. Yeah, and it's probably a toss-up between that and the Cadbury fingers. As a kid, Cadbury fingers are perfect.
Right.
They're great. Bourbon creams, what was the first one that you said?
Custard cream.
The custard cream? Yeah, those are great too. I really like those. Many people love Jaffa cakes. Me, not as much. I don't want fruit in my biscuit.
Okay, so that's in the 4
It's like
or
a
5
jelly,
spot.
yeah. There's because the other one, which was the
We have the Jammy Dodgers.
Jammy Dodgers. I never eat Jammy Dodgers. I'm not even so sure I know what Jammy Dodgers are. And there would be probably people that are British saying, "Well, you just lost your passport." Pineapple heartbeat. Don't feel the pressure to eat all of them. And
I'm wired that way.
I was all set to go with the. I don't know if we're gonna do the wings. I was scared to eat because I wouldn't be eating all of those. I wouldn't go full Bill Burr.
So when Will Ferrell was on the Bill Simmons podcast, he said that the original script for Anchorman was actually a survival story where a plane full of newsmen clips another plane that's just full of monkeys and Chinese throwing stars, and then basically you guys had to survive on this mountain while orangutans take you guys out one by one.
That's right. Newsmen versus apes.
I was going to ask, do you know anything about that? I thought he was just goofing around.
No, that's absolutely true. I heard about it. It was already nixed before it got greenlit at the studio because I think somewhere pretty early on they realized that's impossible. I think the idea was all these newsmen were flying over to some news convention or something, and they're all smoking so many cigarettes that the whole cabin filled up with smoke and the plane crashed. Now, of course, the plane was also transporting Chinese throwing stars and lots of martial arts weaponry. And it crashes on an island inhabited by apes, and then it just turns into a survival tale of newsmen versus apes, which I want to see that movie.
I was saying, what could have been?
Yeah.
Is it true that when you were shooting Wet Hot American Summer that you guys actually stayed on the campsite and slept in the bunks?
Yeah. We it was this camp called Towanda in Honesdale, Pennsylvania. It was a functioning camp. We actually had to shut down production for a week. Almost a week, because in the middle of it, some kid was coming to celebrate his bar mitzvah at the camp.
So you're on the clock.
Yeah, that's how high level our production was. We had to stop in the middle to let the camp this kid rented it out for his bar mitzvah.
What do you make of the Ant-Man kills Thanos by crawling up his butt meme?
I consider it a lost opportunity. Where are you from?
Chicago, originally.
Right, that's where you started. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. So, are you a sports fan? You like Bears?
I do. I love the Bears. I'm a White Sox fan.
Over the Cubs?
I like the Bulls. Yep. I mean, I grew up in the north suburbs, but for whatever reason, I became a Sox fan.
Mm-hmm.
But that is a lovely segue. I love when that happens because I want to take a wing to talk about the Big Slick Weekend, an annual event you co-founded to help raise money for the Cancer Center at Children's Mercy.
Yeah.
In the 10 years you guys have been doing the celebrity softball game, what do you think is your crowning athletic achievement?
There was one time a couple years ago where I think I scored all 3 outs in the inning.
Wow.
Everything else outside of that is just a disaster.
I don't think that record will be broken.
Do you know, one time when we did it, I got to this, we were taking batting practice, and I got to Jeremy Guthrie, who was a pitcher for the Royals at the time, said, "Do you want to see what it's like to actually stand in the box with a major league pitcher?" I said, "Yeah." And he had pitched the night before, but he was still throwing about 85, 90 miles per hour, and it's impossible. It is so hard.
And that's just a straight fastball. If he starts mixing stuff in.
Yeah, that was just, I knew it was coming, and it's like hitting a bullet. too big of a cauliflower piece.
I was gonna say, that looked like a softball that you just put in your mouth.
It feels like it. I don't know, it's harder, the sauce or the whole thing.
This really is a turning point, and then that looked like a dinosaur egg.
That was like, yeah. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to eat it in pieces.
There's no wrong way, Paul. You're doing great.
I'm pretty sure there's a wrong way, and I think that was it.
All right, Paul, we have a recurring segment on our show called Explain That Gram, where we do a deep dive on our guest's Instagram, which is impossible for you because you have no social media to speak of. But we have a workaround.
Okay.
We've pulled some photos of you with famous musicians. So I'll show you the picture, and then you just tell me the backstory. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right, first up, it's you sitting courtside at MSG alongside 50 Cent. Did you guys get a chance to chat at all during the game?
Yeah, he was super nice, really cool. By the way, Howard Stern sitting right next to 50 Cent there, too.
Yeah, I see that here.
Yeah, he was great. He took a picture with my son. He just happened to be sitting next to me. He was really friendly. And then, actually, months later, I was on a flight, and he was on the flight, and then we kind of said, "Hey, how's it going? How are you?" And then he gave me a pair of headphones.
Wow.
I love them.
All right, up next. Do you have a favorite behind-the-scenes memory from this music video sketch alongside Beyonce and Justin Timberlake?
I remember when we taped it, or when we did it, and Timberlake walked out, and how insane everybody went. And I had those moments. I've had this throughout my career where sometimes I just I remind myself to step out of it and look at what's happening here. I'm doing this with Beyonce and Justin Timberlake. And the other two guys I knew, so I was and a huge fan of, but I was like, I've never met these two.
Well, you know what? They say we got to do this with Paul Rudd.
No,
that's what they say.
Nobody says that.
So whenever I get asked questions about hot ones, I always
I
find
knew I
myself
should've gone for
delivering
the
these
freaking
parables
iron
over and over, which I find when I do it, perhaps some of the nuance is lost. And you're somebody who's been doing press around TV and film for 25 years. Do you ever think about how much your narrative is shaped by the need to package the details of your life into these instantly accessible anecdotes?
A great question. Really. After a while, you get used to answering the same questions, so you just kind of think of a different way to say the same answer. And at a certain point, I don't know whether or not that is the way it happened, if that's really true, or it's just I've answered that question so many times that it's now the truth or the way I feel about it. Many people have asked me about how'd you get started, and I used to love those Steve Martin comedy records when I was a kid. And I was thinking, like, maybe I want to do this for a living because of those. That was kind of the first time. And I've said that so many times in interviews. I think it's true. It might not be true. But it's such a limited window. You have a few minutes to talk about it, and then it becomes the default answer.
And then late night, it's its own beast, because then there's this implicit expectation to perform.
Yeah.
As someone with stage experience, are you more comfortable in a setting like that than, say, like a film junket?
No, they're all those things are always nerve-wracking, and they're. I think I learned at an early age that it's all artificial. You know, as a kid, I would watch Letterman and be like, "My God, this is amazing." I mean, it was amazing, and he is amazing. But I think, like, it's so cool, like friends coming over and sitting on the couch. And it was later on I realized, oh, they're promoting something, like they're selling. There's a machine going on, and some of that commercialism, it was like, ugh. As I started to do that, and knowing that part of the job has become selling things, and there are some things that are really fun to do. Like, I was very excited to do this,
We're excited to have you.
And thank you. And there are shows that I like, and I also have a thing where I just can't answer anything seriously. it's just like, oh, just shut up. Nobody wants to hear you talk. Which is perfect in this setting.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
ironic?
absolutely. And then on the topic of Dave, I know that you've joined 2 fan clubs in your life. Scottish music duo, the Proclaimers, and David Letterman. Do you remember how you became one of Dave's disciples, and what do you think is his strongest quality as an entertainer?
I think that David Letterman is single-hand, like responsible for the
got like a
sensibility
horse,
and sense of humor of this country in a way he doesn't quite even get the credit. He has credit and respect and everything, but I think he is such an important figure.
It's basically sheep liver wrapped in fat and spiced, and then you put a stick to it, just keep the fat around it, and you fry it on the fire. It's delicious because the fat takes away that wild gamey taste of the liver and also prevents it from being too dry. And then we're also going to do some chicken, some rice, I guess you call it sandwiches, but you only fry them with the bread, so you can get like a bit of a smoky, nice little brown coating on the grid. And then just normal salad, yeah. I'm gonna go chill with my fiance and her brother. Oh, fiddlesticks. What a noob move. Come on. Okay. I'm a little mad at myself for doing that. I'm normally much better with creepers. So, yeah, that sucks. Embarrassing. Okay. Let's just do this. Prevent that from happening again. That's what I get from focusing.
Especially in early on, it lasted, but this sense of he didn't want to really be there.
Yeah, you know, I always think about that. You know, there was a time where I think that he was like competing with Leno, and then like there was a time where maybe he like took his foot off the gas. But to me, he was funnier then.
Yeah, and the thing that he has that I find really appealing is he's got such a massive intellect that his disdain for all of showbiz and all of the nonsense that comes along with it he is so in its right place that I just don't think there's anybody better.
Is my timing off? What am I doing?
This is a big.
I'm a child.
You and me both right here.
Hitting it like pool balls. Ow.
Good Lord.
Arcanistro. The Bravado Spice Company. Where does this one land on the Scoville meter?
Around 100K on this one.
Okay.
Does it taste that way?
Yeah, it makes sense.
When Larry King asked Judd Apatow to talk about something about Paul Rudd that no one else knows, he says that you do this thing when you take pictures of celebrities. You do this thing with your hand where you make it look like there's a butt hovering over them.
Yeah.
How do you? If I gave you my phone, can you show me how you do that?
Sure.
Like just open up the camera.
Yeah. So if I do this and I get you in and I get my hand going here. Oh, you gotta go. That's good. So now it looks like you're standing in front of a guy or a girl that's totally naked. There are things you can do.
Where'd you learn this skill?
I don't know, but I'm glad I did. Okay. Now, yeah, okay. So that one's definitely a guy.
Whoa! You got a ball sack in there.
After a while, you can learning
iterate
tricks.
a little bit.
Yeah, expanding, growing. I learned my pinky at the right angle makes a great scrotum. Wait a minute.
You got more?
Oh, do I have more? This is one you're probably not going to be able to show on the show.
We'll give it a shot.
But you know what? You can always...
We'll run it by Randy and Legal.
Yeah, you can always open this picture up when you're on the subway. That's a little blurry, but you know, you can tell... You can... Should we zoom in on the... Yeah, no, that was gross. I have thousands of those pictures of people that you would not... not expect to see in those photos that are pretty good. Lips are really tingling.
Well, if you think they're tingling now, this is the bomb. And I should tell you, it comes from Kansas City. I'm not sure if that's a point of pride necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you be the judge of that.
Kansas City, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Home of... They make the bomb.
They make the bomb.
The bomb's the one. I haven't touched this, by the way.
I've noticed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shout out Kansas City. Shout out Kansas City.
Well, we also have Patrick Mahomes. Don't judge us on just that.
So, on the topic of Kansas City, I know that you're a barbecue-loving Kansas City boy. What makes the Z-Man sandwich from Joe's KC the best sandwich in the world?
Oh my God! It's just there's something about it that is it's perfect. It's a perfect sandwich. It's a perfect sandwich. The right levels of meat. I'm actually not a vegetarian, but I'm trying to become better at. I should point that out. Because there is meat in this sandwich. But it's the right ratio of brisket. They put provolone cheese on it.
It's good cheese.
With onion rings and original Joe's sauce. It's incredible. And just the combination of that with the seasoned fries, maybe a Tank 7 on the side, and you got yourself that's a perfect meal.
As someone who ranked in state on his competitive forensics team in high school, what's your refutation to those who say that Texas barbecue is better than Kansas City barbecue?
There's a real rivalry, and then there'll be some in Tennessee that say, hey,
But come on.
while you guys argue about your nonsense, we're the ones. So I don't claim, but I know Kansas City barbecue, it's the best. I would also like to find another NFL stadium that smells so good tailgating.
Nicest smelling parking lot in the NFL. That's what they say.
That's right. Now, some of the people that are there at the game, I wouldn't put my money down. You know, I'll call it Camaro head for nothing.
Have you mastered the art
sweet.
of cooking on your
Oh, the
big
art.
green egg? On that
Yes.
big green egg yet?
No, I haven't mastered it. I love it.
Is it just collecting dust in the backyard?
No, I really tried. This summer, I really tried to really get it. My kids would make fun of me because I was watching YouTube videos of like people making stuff on a green egg. I bought all the egg-accessories. They're called egg-accessories. Is there anything that screams middle-aged God like this? Yeah, I need a sec. I see why people take a second and walk around.
Yeah. Feel free to. You can always take a lap.
No,
We're locked in. Locked in, baby.
I ain't touching that. People always used to say in the 50s and 60s, like, oh, we smoke cigarettes. We didn't know they were bad for us. And as a kid, I was like, come on.
Like, how could you not know?
How could you not know? I feel the same way about the bomb.
You try that and right away you know.
You know that's not good for you.
Yeah. You want
I want to see what's happening in the body.
Let's get a CAT scan.
This whole side's turning pink. Yellow. It's like it's like a weather map. a storm's coming in.
Get the fuck out of here.
Good.
I mean, the
Category
beep out of here.
7. Have I let you down because I haven't gone for that?
No, if anything, you're setting a really high bar. Whatever reason, you know, people get really hyped when someone makes it through with no water, no milk.
Really?
It's rarefied air.
All right.
You and like Halle Berry and Guy Fieri.
Say it again.
It is Fieri. Do you think it's Fieri?
Well, probably not.
Like if you were talking to him and you said Fieri, he'd correct you and say Fieri.
Oh, fuck that guy then.
It's quite an intro. You got Fieri right.
They do the
get
R on
that
it all
one
the time.
They get it wrong every time. You knocked it out of the park.
Oh, man.
Which was a more memorable experience? Joining an all Cantonese cast for Gen X Cops 2 or appearing in that apocalyptic Super Nintendo commercial in the early 90s?
All right, what was the question? Well, they were both memorable because they both, you know, changed the world as we know it. Shooting with an all Cantonese cast in Hong Kong, and this Jackie Chan produced sequel to Gen X Cops was
I got
spectacularly
cool.
weird. I'm playing the head of the FBI. They want to bleach my hair blonde, and I have to go after a robot. Nothing about this screamed quality in any way. But I'm like, yeah, oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to go to Hong Kong for 2 months. I just need a second. I want to go to Hong Kong for 2 months and see what this is all about. And it was great. They were great. The city was great.
All right.
This is yours. What if we put a little of every single one?
Yeah.
Let's try. Is this gonna put me in the hospital?
What are you gonna do? Are you just gonna go right on?
You know what? You're doing this the smart way. You're pouring.
I'm making a little hot sauce puddle.
Look at us. Hey, look at us.
Look at us.
Huh?
Who would have thought?
Not me. Hey, these are props.
Whoa.
Okay, I got that one. The bomb from Kansas City.
From Kansas City.
Got any brothers, sisters?
I do. I have a younger brother named Gavin.
What does Gavin do?
He actually works on the show.
He does?
Yeah. And then here we are now, 166 episodes later, doing an all 10 sauces dab on the cauliflower wings.
I'd like to point out yours is much neater than mine. It's falling off the board.
I like it. It looks like an abstract painting.
Well, you want to see an abstract painting of it, do Jackson Pollock for you when we're done shooting this segment. Hey, I must say though, it's a great idea. It's a great construct for an interview.
Thank
show.
you.
But I think you're an excellent interviewer.
Oh, thank you.
You don't even
Paul.
need the hot sauce.
I appreciate that, but you know, if you got it,
You got it.
you got it.
You got it. Hey,
All
look
right.
at you.
I'm running through.
You're running through it like a little bit of yours. That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a fully coated meatball right there.
This is dumb.
This is very stupid, but I would point out it was your idea, Paul. So, to being sick the rest of the day.
All right. Breathe in through your mouth. It's like breathing in dry ice.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you make you cry?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm shedding. I'm watering up quite a bit actually.
Do a scene right now. Okay.
I didn't make the 7th grade basketball team.
Okay.
So, Brett made it. Pat made it. Am I not good enough?
You're killing me. You're breaking my heart. It's not the hot hot sauce. It's you. You are good enough. You should have made that team.
You know what? I'm gonna practice harder. I'm gonna work on my jumper. I'm gonna work on my ball handling, and you know what?
What?
Next year, I'm gonna be on that roster.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you know why? You are good enough. You are talented enough. And you are strong enough.
And scene! Paul Rudd,
Yeah, what is it?
look at you. 10 cauliflower vegan wings up. 10 cauliflower vegan wings down. This camera, this camera, this camera. Let the people know what you have going on in your life.
I got nothing going on.
Careful around your eyes.
Yeah, that was another mistake. The finger might have not been the smartest.
You know what? It was good for the scene, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We don't need to. Again, the artificiality of the. I'm not here to sell anything. I'm here to celebrate. This is a celebration, not commercial.
Good fucking job, Paul. That was awesome. Hey, what's going on, Hot Ones fans? This is Sean Evans checking in, and do you smell that? Fall, it's in the air. No, I'm not talking about pumpkin spice. I'm not talking about candy corn. I am talking about the Last Dab Triple X, because the Pepper X harvest, it's in, baby. This is the hottest hot sauce that we've ever made with 3 kinds of Pepper X. I'm talking Chocolate X. I'm talking Mustard X. I'm talking Peach X. The Last Dab Triple X, it's available now at Heatonist.com. Heatonist.com to order the hottest hot sauce that we've ever made. Why is he shaking that bottle?
That's awesome. Okay, let's go back to some rugby commentating. So what was the channel that I'm listening on? It is the... I don't know. Where is the thing going to start now? Live chat replays on. I don't want that.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Nathan Murphy!
Off the ball.
Thank you very much. Jennifer, I think you're going to need to come back up at some stage and warm up this crowd. How are we all doing? Give it up for Jennifer.
Keith Wood, Michael A. and Bobby Skinner.
Who's your favourite, Jamie Heaslip or Brian O'Driscoll? Peter O'Mahony. Peter O'Mahony is number 1. Brian O'Driscoll is still with us. Michael Lina is here. Bobby Skinstead. Keith Wood all alone. We are here tonight with thanks to Heineken, official worldwide partner of Rugby World Cup Japan 2019. We have some big names, but we're missing something. We're missing Big Mal. Please give it up for Malcolm O'Kelly! How are you?
Yeah.
We're going to get into previewing Saturday's game, but I know you were just been held back side of stage when Paul Howard was on talking about Leinster schools rugby.
I was very upset by the way he was handling us. You know, I always took great umbrage to it because I lived in Knockline, which is kind of close to Tala, you know. It's kind of close to Tala. And,
you didn't living in Knockline. You didn't play Leinster schools rugby.
I don't know. I was a Holy Ghost. I was a Holy Ghoster, you know, not the Black Rock and the Michaels, more the social and affordable in Templo. But Yeah, it reminds me when I was in the World Cup in '07. You know, it was obviously a very tough time for Ireland, and probably more so because I was on the bench. But we were playing in Bordeaux, and we were playing Namibia, and I was on the dead ball area, and I was running up and down the dead ball area, warming up, keep warm. And next thing I started hearing, "Come on, ye super hoops! Come on, ye super hoops!" And it was like a whole bunch of Temple Ogres were there. They were chanting me, going running up and down, like doing the press up. "Come on, we are the low, and we are the best." I was going, oh. So, and then of course I benched the Georgia match as well. And same thing, "Come on, you super." And then we got to the Argentina match, and it was like, after about an hour, it was all the way back low, all the way back low. And they weren't there at the French match. I don't know where they're gone.
Funds have run out.
They've given up on us as well.
So it is New Zealand. We spent the last 3 years wondering, would it be the All Blacks or would it be South Africa? It's going to be the All Blacks on Saturday morning. Just the second time, actually, Ireland have ever played New Zealand at the World Cup. There was one standout moment, I think, from the last time Ireland played New Zealand at the World Cup.
Marvellous attacking opportunity, this. Terry Kingston having a word with his forwards, a set move involving the forwards. They're on the charge now, Fulcher up there, but it goes to Halpin. Halpin's over, and Halpin is over for the try. And what a moment for this man Halpin, who would have believed it, his 9th cap and his very first try for Ireland. And has he ever scored a better or a more important one in his career?
If all else fails, at least we'll always have Gary Halpin giving the All Blacks the finger. Dear God.
Were you on the bench for that?
Yeah.
I was on the bench.
Hang on there one sec, Keith. There's a microphone coming on for you here.
Ring the school he was working at to apologise for the fact that he'd given the finger to the All Blacks. That was the first time we'd really seen Jonah Lomu as well, and we had a couple of injuries in the back line, and Paul Burke was sub out half. So I don't know who it was went down injured, and Burkey leans over to me and said, "I'm not going on, Woody." You've to go on. I'm not going on. I'm not going on. I'm not going on. Jonah was just causing absolute carnage with it. But yeah, it's 24 years ago. Yeah, that was a very short World Cup for me. I lasted 7 minutes in that World Cup. But yeah, but Halpin lives on and actually dines out in that story still.
It seems strange to ask, Brian, considering we beat the All Blacks this time last year. But this current All Black side and where Ireland are right now, how do Ireland beat the All Blacks this Saturday?
Listen, a hell of a lot can obviously change in a week or two in rugby. We've seen it so much where, you know, we've been phenomenal and then you get turned over, and other sides likewise. Where we have come into this World Cup, obviously it's not where we would have liked to have been. The warm-ups games didn't go to plan. You know, we had the great performance against Scotland, then the upset against Japan, followed it up by a pretty poor performance against Russia, even though they tried to sugarcoat it a little bit as players, and as a team, in reality, it was a poor performance.
Do you think they actually know that?
Of course they know that. Of course they do. You know, we all watched the game, and you know, if Johnny Sexton was true to form, he'd have. If there wasn't a bit of a little bit of a confidence issue within the team, he would have had a go in that post-match interview saying it's a substandard performance. But the reality was he needed to build a team up, as did Joe Schmidt, because they were at a low ebb, and you know they've said within camp that, you know, spirits are good, and I believe that. They've got a one-off shot at the best team in the world, so, you know, spirits should still be positive. But I said it before, and I did mean it. You know, Ireland certainly have not peaked, and they've got a big performance in them, I hope. And I'm the eternal optimist. They need to get almost everything spot on. They need to get their set piece, their line-out functioning phenomenally. You know, we had an armchair ride against Samoa last week, and all the stats will significantly have improved. But I think prior to the game, Samoa had contested 1 in 43 line-outs, so they don't put pods up. So you can throw it anywhere. I thought one or two of Rory Best's throws looked a bit shaky, even though they weren't contested. So we're going to have a much tougher day at the office there. But I think defence is everything, and discipline is everything. If you don't give away penalties, and I think that's where Nigel Owen comes into play. He doesn't like giving penalties. He likes a little bit of a free-for-all. So expect teams, particularly at the ruck, to hold on to it an awful lot longer. He wants those games of 45-40 where he doesn't have to blow the whistle very often. He wants to be involved in them, and they're great spectacles. So I think it's a good referee for us to get for this fixture, but we have to get absolutely everything right if we're to live with them. Woody said it, if they don't get it right, we could be beaten by 20 or 25. But I fancy that we have a huge performance, and it's
going to finish this bit.
Potentially Joe Schmidt's last, last job in charge, or last game in charge as Irish coach. And against the All Blacks, I just think the stars are beginning to align a small bit, and I feel as though it'll be super tight, and we have a chance.
Mal, as Brian said, this could well be Joe Schmidt's last game in charge, and I heard Eddie O'Sullivan saying during the week that maybe this is the big reveal. Maybe actually the last year has been waiting for a quarter-final, that something has been held back. You can see why everyone thinks of that. How much do you think has been held back, or is anything?
Well, I know what you mean. At the top of our powers,
freak me out, this noises they make.
We're just playing this game that no other team can do it.
My nightmares.
I believe that other teams now understand the game that we're playing and have come with a defence to deal with that, and I think we're being very tough on this Irish team to suggest that they're now no longer doing what they were doing. They have had to lift it. They need to lift it, and this match will be that. Yes, I would say Joe has got a lot of tricks up his sleeve, because I haven't seen Ireland play as basically as they have been doing in terms of some of the moves and the patterns they've been doing. They've just been very straightforward. I would imagine we'll see a lot more going on, something maybe that we haven't seen. But that's a huge demand on the players to perform it at the very peak of performance against the best team in the world. I think it's a huge challenge. I don't know if that's too much to ask. But this Irish team, saying that, has got the physicality to deal with New Zealand. They've shown that time.